The January transfer window is fast approaching here in Season 2 of our realistic Crystal Palace career mode featuring ChatGPT. That means we need to meet with our sporting director to see what transfer targets he has in mind, but first we need to find out if there's actually going to be a budget available. Now, we did spend £95 million in the summer on the likes of Trevor Chalobah, Giannis Constantelius, Tammy Abraham. So adding even further to the squad in January would be a big financial commitment. That's why Steve Parish has said we can use the remaining 25 million of our 120 million budget, but that would mean we have less money to spend in the summer. And I'm not sure I would be on board with that because our squad as it currently stands doesn't have any glaring weaknesses, not just in the first team, but also on the bench. So I'm not even sure what kind of position we would be targeting in January. And another thing to note is that our custom Premier League objective stipulates that if we finish in the top half, we can sign one player between 82 and 85 overall. So I think we might be better served saving our money in case of that eventuality. So we've posed the question to sporting director Dougie Friedman to find out his thoughts. So Friedman says he's inclined to agree we should take a conservative approach to the January window and avoid adding any new players. But I'm also interested to hear his thoughts about departures. We did manage to re-sign Daichi Kamada, Tayo Adramola, Czech Decore to new deals in the last episode, but we still have 6 players on expiring contracts. So it'll be interesting to see whether Friedman is happy for us to keep those players for the remainder of the season, or whether he's looking to cash in January instead. And to my surprise, Friedman actually favors a conservative approach here as well. He says that unless a compelling offer comes in, he would rather focus on morale and stability by keeping the squad together. So at this stage, it's looking like there won't be any arrivals or departures in January. But if you think that shouldn't be the case, drop some names in the comments below of players that you think we should be targeting. Drop some names in the comments below as well for players you think we could potentially target in the summer. I'm very hopeful that we can finish in the top half this season. So if you could sign one player between an 82 and an 85 overall to really make a difference to the squad and put us over the top, who would that player be? All of this is just planning and preparation at this stage though, because we do have the months of November and December to get through first. December's going to be a busy one. November, not so much. We're going to kick things off in today's episode with a featured game at home against Fulham. We'll be quick simming games against Leicester City at the King Power and against Bournemouth. And then we will round out the episode by travelling to our old stomping ground, Goodison Park, to take on Everton. Fulham are just 1 point and 1 place below us in the Premier League table. And they've actually scored and conceded the exact same number of goals as us. So it should be a very close matchup. And we will head over to Selhurst Park after a message from today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Enigma Football, the UK's leading supplier of football shirt mystery boxes just like this one. Enigma stock a wide range of football shirts from clubs from the Big 5 European leagues, from lesser known teams around the world, and even from national teams as well. And you can be 100% certain that their shirts are authentic because they get them straight from the clubs and the manufacturers directly. Their mystery boxes start at just $34.99 and they can be as random or as customized as you like. Of course, you need to specify your shirt size, but you can also let Enigma know if there are any teams or leagues you would like to avoid, if there are any colors or designs that you would prefer, or you can just leave it entirely up to Enigma to choose for you. Enigma had a very good idea of what team I would like to receive, so they sent me this season's Crystal Palace shirt. This exact shirt on the Crystal Palace website would have cost me £60. But if you receive it in a mystery box, you get it almost half that price. And you can knock that price down even further by using code LAMSY at the checkout for a 10% discount on all first orders, including the first month of a mystery box subscription package. So if you're on the lookout for a Christmas gift for the diehard football fan in your life, or if you just want a fun and affordable way to expand your own shirt collection, check out Enigma Football. The link is in the description, and be sure to use code LAMSY at the checkout for 10% off your first order. Shout out to Enigma Football for sponsoring. Now let's get back to the video.
Selhurst Park. Enjoy the game.
So it's a matchup between two mid-table clubs. And we are very much still looking to make that transition from mid-table club to top half club. Palace have had a couple of 10th place finishes in the Premier League in recent seasons. But we are really looking to establish ourselves as a true top 10 side, which I think Palace certainly haven't done yet in real life. We also haven't managed to do that here just yet. Only in Season 2, though. We still have time. Roscoe Torres finds the young captain, Adam Wharton, who finds Daichi Kamada in a bit of space on the edge of the box, who gets the shot away, and it's blocked immediately by the Fulham defender. I thought it would open up for Kamada for a moment there. Constantelius at the back post misses. He puts it wide. And Constantelius is still waiting for his first goal in the Crystal Palace shirt, and he cannot believe that he is not yet off the mark. I cannot believe that he is not yet off the mark. 4 minutes into the game, a gilt-edged opportunity to take the lead. And Constantelius puts it wide. He's not struggled exactly in a Crystal Palace shirt, Constantelius. But he also hasn't been particularly impressive. He's had a slow start to his Crystal Palace career, to say the least. Surely is going to take some time, though, for the youngster. And he is a youngster, just 21 years of age. He may have even been 20 years of age when we signed him. But he is going to take some time to grow and develop and become accustomed to Premier League football. Nicely worked from Fulham, who put the shot wide. I had my heart in my mouth for a moment there, because I did slide in with Chris Richards to try and get a block on the shot from Vinicius. I didn't manage to get the block on the ball, and Vinicius took a tumble, so I was convinced for a moment there that the referee was going to blow the whistle and award Fulham a penalty, and I'm not sure he would have been wrong to do so. It was a risky challenge from Chris Richards, as Roscoe Torres tries to find Tammy Abraham. It's an awkward one for the Fulham defender, but he does just hook clear. And again, Daichi Kamada is in a bit of space. He strikes from range in a support one. Tried to get the time to finish on it. Didn't time it up at all to perfection. And it goes harmlessly wide as a result. We are playing after Title Update 4 has dropped. And these are the first games I am playing post-Title Update 4, so I haven't yet had time to test my custom slider set, which is available on the channel at the moment. It is updated currently for Title Update 3. So we will be seeing here for the very first time how much of an impact Title Update 4 has had on the gameplay, and whether or not changes need to be made to that slider set. These opening 10 or 15 minutes have felt pretty good, though. I think potentially Constantelius lays it off this time to Adam Wharton, who strikes. Hooked clear by Fulham. I think one thing I am noticing is that Fulham's defensive line is very deep. Whether that is a product of Fulham's tactics, or whether we need to raise the defensive line slider value, which we have lowered fairly significantly in version 3 of the slider set, that's yet to be determined. But at the moment, we seem to be gaining a lot of space on the edge of Fulham's box. Constantelius. Kamada. Again in space. Is not going to strike this time. Instead, he's going to lay it off to Daniel Munoz, who edges forward. And we could have done with Luca Koleosho just holding his position there. Tammy Abraham turns the header towards goal. It's a comfortable save from Benitez, though, who gets Fulham underway quickly. Smith Rowe nods it down to Galan, the Fulham left-back for today. Not too many surprises in either lineup for each manager. We have pretty much our strongest 11 out there. Roscoe Torres starting at left-back over Tyrick Mitchell. And despite the significantly lower overall, I think that does constitute our strongest lineup. Roscoe Torres continues to outperform Tyrick Mitchell. Hooked clear again by Fulham. And then we have Koulibaly, who commits the foul there somehow. Not entirely sure how. But Koulibaly at centre-back today in place of Trevor Chalobah, who is not quite fully fit. Munoz finds Kamada. Can't quite find Adam Wharton. Chris Richards puts the foot in. Daichi Kamada once more. Luka Koleosho on the right-hand side. Did he manage to stay onside? He did. Can he find Tammy Abraham? He can. What a touch. What a finish. Tammy Abraham makes it 1-0. And you can't say it hasn't been coming. We've had the better of Fulham in the opening exchanges in these first 20 minutes or so. It's been all Crystal Palace, to be honest. And it's a great ball from Luka Koleosho. A bit of an awkward one for Tammy Abraham to control. And it does loop up off his chest after the initial touch, but that just allows him to half volley it past the onrushing Benitez. And Tammy Abraham's incredible start to his Crystal Palace career continues. We said Constantelius has had a bit of a slow one. The same certainly cannot be said for Tammy Abraham. He is rapidly approaching double-digit goals for us already. And the season is not even close to being half over. Tammy Abraham steals the ball away. Almost steals the ball away anyway. Smith Rowe finds Vinicius. Blocked by Richards this time. I was more worried about the runner in behind there for Fulham. So they kind of let us off the hook there by taking the shot on early. Adam Wharton. Daichi Kamada. Continues to be criticised in real life for Crystal Palace, Daichi Kamada. But continues to impress here in this particular save. That's a really poor pass from Koulibaly. Back-to-back player of the seasons is the prediction in the comments section at the moment for Daichi Kamada. And I see no reason to bet against that. He's been one of our best players this season. The only player at the moment I could see running Kamada close for player of the season is, of course, Tammy Abraham. And I think you would have to give it to him if the season stopped today. That's another loose pass. The season, of course, though, doesn't stop today. Several games left for Tammy Abraham to rack up his tally of goals even further. Nicely worked again from Fulham. Harrison Reed. Kaku in space. Kamada coming over to close him down. And it's a comfortable save for Henderson, who's going to look for Koleosho early. Finds him, but it's dealt with well by Galan. Dealt with really well. Sander Berger finds Harrison Reed. Kaku finds Vinicius. And it's a good run in behind, but Adam Wharton cuts it out comfortably. To be fair, I was using Chris Richards in behind, and I would have cut that out if Adam Wharton didn't do so. That's a really poor pass from Constantelius. To be fair, it was more so that he just wasn't on the same page as Adam Wharton, rather than the pass itself being a poor one. Harrison Reed once more. Fulham starting to work their way back into the game now. And it's another really good opportunity for Vinicius. Henderson well positioned though. Makes the save once more. Potentially we'll just slow the game down a little bit now. Try and kill this little bit of momentum that Fulham have been building in the last 10 minutes or so. Roscoe Torres. Constantelius ahead of him. Torres just puts his head down and continues though. And he'll just whip it into the box. Tammy Abraham can't win it. 6'5" and 92 jumping. He's not going to win every header though. Vinicius. It's another foul committed by Koulibaly. That's all he's done in today's game so far really. Is commit fouls. Into the box from, I think, Harry Wilson, and Dean Henderson's been caught off his line. And Sander Berger nods home for the Fulham equaliser. And again, you can't say it hasn't been coming. We had the better of the opening 20 minutes, but Fulham have had the better of the last 10 or 15. And Sander Berger beats both Lacroix and Koulibaly, who was at fault, to give Fulham the free kick in the first place. And Dean Henderson is just too far off his line to do anything about that one. Potentially coming out to claim why you would be doing so when two of your players are marking the single Fulham attacker, I'm not sure. But that's what looks to be the case. Constantelius finds Koleosho. Really good run from Daichi Kamada, and what a ball that is from Koleosho, and what a save from Benitez. I thought he was set to take the lead seconds after Fulham equalised, and it's a move that deserved a goal. Beautiful ball from Constantelius over to Koleosho. We have seen that multiple times this season from Constantelius as one of the things that he has done well in a Crystal Palace shirt, and it is one of the reasons we bought him in, to be fair. One of the reasons he was on my list of transfer targets was because of those long passes. And then it was a perfectly weighted ball from Koleosho through to Kamada as well. And we saw a similar goal scored earlier in the season. It's our only contender for goal of the season so far, but I think that would have had to have been the second goal on the shortlist if it had ended up in the back of the net. Dean Henderson does force the ball out of play, but only for a Fulham corner. And it is Fulham who look the more likely to score a second goal, as Berger shapes to shoot from the edge of the box. Koulibaly gets a foot in, and we do just manage to bundle the ball clear. Not convincing by any means, though. That's a good challenge from Kamada, who immediately spots Koleosho, and I got that one all wrong. Just looking to slip Koleosho in behind immediately there. But the accuracy on the pass left a lot to be desired. Vinicius, he's been Fulham's main threat in this first half by far. Koulibaly, again disappointing. Can't put in the foot. And forces another save from Dean Henderson. And another corner to be delivered by Emil Smith-Rowe. Into a dangerous area. Daniel Munoz deals with it well, though. Can Constantelius get there? Not quite. Harry Wilson finds Galan. Saved by Henderson. And we'll look to create the final opportunity of this first half, as 1 minute of 2 added has already elapsed. Plenty of space for Daniel Munoz to venture down this right-hand side, though, and look for Tammy Abraham in the box. And it's a fantastic save from Benitez, who just about knocks himself out on the post. And it's a Fulham free kick. I have no idea what that can even be for, because I don't think there was even a player that was in that area. Whether it's an offside from Tammy Abraham, I'm not sure. That would be my best guess, because there was nobody else in the box. But he wasn't on the spot that the free kick was taken when he headed the ball, so I guess it must have been an offside. But disappointing to go in 1-1, but promising signs that we can kick on in the second half and get all 3 points. So no changes just yet as we come out for the second half here at Selhurst Park. I think potentially we just need to try and be a little more clinical, a little more ruthless in the final third. There have been instances where we potentially could have played an incisive through ball to split the Fulham defence, but we favoured a more conservative option. And it has been when we've played those kind of direct, incisive passes that we've caused Fulham most problems. Tammy Abraham wins the header, can't find Kamada. There wasn't a lot he could have done there, really, Tammy Abraham. Kind of had to nod the ball back towards Kamada. But it was always going to be a long shot that he would actually end up in possession. And we have been pretty loose in possession. Lots of misplaced passes today. Vinicius once more. Lacroix beaten. Richards beaten for a second time too. Thankfully it's a tame shot. And Daichi Kamada will look to get a quick counter-attack started as soon as possible. Roscoe Torres. Constantelius. Adam Wharton. Daichi Kamada once more. Not too many options, except for Koleosho out on the right. Daniel Munoz. Can't find Kamada. It's another of those loose passes. Roscoe Torres thankfully wins the header. and finds Munoz once more. But we really do need to step things up in the final third here. As Luka Koleosho collects and drives. It's poor. That's not the way to get it done. Absolutely not the way to get it done. Vinicius. We could really do with getting somebody tighter on Vinicius as well. Because he has been an outlet for Fulham so many times in this first half. Berger finds Kaku. Good challenge, Kamada. And we'll look for... I was going to say the run of Constantelius, but he simply didn't make one. Wharton finds Munoz. We've got to have the final product at some point. Again, we don't have it there. To be fair to Munoz, we just wanted Tammy Abraham to make a run across the 6-yard box there. And again, he simply didn't. He just kind of held back and drifted towards the back of the penalty area. Thankfully, Fulham making their own loose passes. And Munoz will take the throw. We do need an option, though. Adam Wharton eventually provides one. Koulibaly can just drift forward into this space with Roscoe Torres ahead of him in support. And instead we put the ball out of play. So poor. Just so lax in possession. And Roscoe Torres can't break away from Harrison Reed. And after a decent start to the game from both sides, it's been a really scrappy second half so far. And it does look like it's just going to be a goal at either end. Maybe bundled into the net, maybe from a set piece. There's going to be the difference in this game. Kamada in search of Koleosho. Can't quite drop it into his path. Bassi instead is back to deal with it. Joachim Anderson, of course, starting for Fulham today. That's something we haven't mentioned just yet. The former Crystal Palace man back at Selhurst Park. We did, of course, have that in a previous episode with Mark Gahey. Joachim Anderson, maybe not quite the fan favourite that Mark Gahey is at Selhurst Park, but he probably wasn't too far off either. I think a lot of Palace fans, good save, Dean Henderson. I think a lot of Palace fans do have a soft spot for Joachim Anderson. And he did offer them something that they don't currently have, which is those big, sweeping, long balls out from the back. Fairly unique in his ability in that regard for a centre-back, Joachim Anderson. Something that we could do with this season as well. Potentially that's somewhere that we look in terms of an 82 to 85 overall player going forward next summer if we do manage to finish top half. Could be a centre-back with that kind of ability. Daichi Kamada finds Constantelius, who can't find Adam Wharton because again the pass is just a poor one. It's been the story of the game for us, certainly since we scored that goal in the 20th minute. And Adam Wharton is less than fresh at this stage. Koleosho, the outlet for Dean Henderson, dealt with again well by the Fulham left back. Constantelius into the path of Abraham, brings it down on his chest again. Bassi reads the danger this time, and Daniel Munoz is just completely abandoning that pass or that challenge. He wanted no part of it. Daichi Kamada strikes from range and buries it this time. What a goal, Daichi Kamada. He had a couple of opportunities like that in the first half. Couldn't make anything of them. But completely out of the blue, he absolutely buries one in the far corner. It's been a scrappy 20 minutes or so here in the second half. We certainly haven't deserved that goal like we deserved our opener. But it's going to be another goal added to the goal of the season shortlist. And it's going to be Daichi Kamada again. He is the scorer of 100% of the goals on Season 2's goal of the season contender shortlist at the moment. And potentially that gives him the edge for player of the season over Tammy Abraham as well. Abraham has scored more, but do you favour quantity or do you favour quality? Because Daichi Kamada certainly has the edge in the latter. Munoz again looks for Koleosho on the outlet. He actually wins the header. Can't find Tammy Abraham though. And I think we do just need to make sure that we hold on to this lead. It's wide from Fulham. That will give us an opportunity to make a change or two. Adam Wharton, I think, is going to be one of the players to leave the field. And I might actually take Koulibaly off here as well. So 3 changes for Oliver Glasner and Crystal Palace, as Tyrick Mitchell and William Davidson both come on to join the back 5. Roscoe Torres and Koulibaly leaving the field. And then it's Cheick on for Adam Wharton. So again, a bit more of a defensive presence. Daichi Kamada wearing the captain's armband now. And with about 20 minutes to go, stoppage time included, I think we do just need to make sure we hold on to this 2-1 lead. Make sure we come away with 3 points. I said in the last episode, there's no reason we shouldn't be aiming for 9, 10, maybe even all 12 points in today's episode, considering our opponents. All 4 of our opponents in today's episode are below us in the table. Fulham, of course, just by 1 place. Bournemouth are relatively close to us as well, but Leicester and Everton, I believe, are fighting relegation at this point. That's certainly true for Leicester. Sorry, for Everton. Potentially not the case for Leicester. How are we so deep? How are we so deep there? Vinicius grabs the equaliser for Fulham, but we are just parked up on our own 6-yard line. What are Lacroix and Richards doing? It does seem to me that line height needs to be raised in the slider set, because that's out of the ordinary. We don't have a particularly high defensive line, but we certainly don't have one that's so deep that I would be expecting my players to be just posting up on the 6-yard line and allowing the opposing striker to collect the ball, to turn and shoot. Absolutely outrageous defending. And again, we go in search of a winning goal. And we've made several defensive substitutions at this stage as well. So our capabilities of being able to score that opening goal have, of course, been reduced. Tammy Abraham tried to nod it down to Cheick. Doesn't quite manage to do so. Koleosho will deliver again. Tammy Abraham with the overhead kick. Kamada wide. I was kind of anticipating the referee blowing the whistle there, but it's a moot point anyway. Kamada's shot flashes wide again. And with 10 minutes to go, I really feel like we should be picking up all 3 points here. Davidson, what a header. Kamada can drive. Beats Kaku. Tries to lay it off for Cheick. But again, just can't get the pass off in time. Kamada tracks back though. Forces Smith Rowe to the sideline. Kamada too is a little short of fitness at this stage. He's done a lot of running in centre midfield today, to be fair. And he's feeling the effects now. Sander Berger. Blocked by Kamada. Does as much for us defensively as he does going forward, to be fair as well, Kamada. It's been just an excellent presence for us in centre midfield. He seems a little out of position there in real life, but here in the game he is a pretty ideal candidate to play that particular position. Cheick now drives at the Fulham back line. Takes his turn to try and chip it over the top for Tammy Abraham to run onto. Not enough on it. Bit more of a back and forth now as we approach the final 5 minutes of the game. A bit more end to end. Both teams not settling for a point. Well won, Kamada into Tammy Abraham's feet. Luka Koleosho out on the right hand side. Cuts it back to Tammy Abraham, who strikes and puts it wide. We need to get these shots on target. It's a really good opportunity for Abraham to test the goalkeeper at the very least. So it's very much looking like we are going to draw this game, but we will make 2 final changes to try and grab an all-important winner. Daichi Kamada's played very well, but he's just too tired to continue. So Joe Bellingham will come on to replace him. Ismail Assar on for Constantelius as well, who again has not had the best of games, to be honest. Ismail Assar in space is onside, cuts onto his left foot and drives at the Fulham back line. Finds Cheick Doucouré, who finds Koleosho on the left-hand side now, puts it into a dangerous area, and it's headed clear by Fulham. Bellingham strikes, and it is on target on this occasion, but parried away by Benitez, and Tammy Abraham's shot is a tame one. It was a header as he was leaning back away from goal. Did well just to get it on target, to be fair. And Doucouré steals it away and drives towards the Fulham back line. And the Fulham defenders, again, so deep, just standing off Doucouré there. They do manage to get the block in, though. Tyrick Mitchell steals it away. Tammy Abraham in a very good position, but Tyrick Mitchell can't find him. And the referee's final whistle does go. And it is just going to be a point at Selhurst Park. Disappointing result. I think we should be winning this game. The second goal in particular for Fulham, a really disappointing one to concede. Just how we've allowed Vinicius to pick the ball up there and turn, I have no idea, and it's really cost us. So it's not the worst result you can imagine, and we are technically still on track to get 10 points in today's episode, but certainly does feel like 2 points dropped rather than a point gained in this one. And of course, getting those 10 points does mean we need to grab a couple of wins in Quick Sim, which, as you well know, is never guaranteed. So Trevor Chalobah does return for our second game of the episode as we travel to the King Power to take on Leicester. Ismail Assar comes into the side for this one, as well as Tyrick Mitchell at left back, and we do grab 3 points. It's been a rarity in the Quick Sim in this season and in this series, but Adam Wharton grabs the first goal in the first half, 16 minutes in. Leicester actually equalised just after the halftime break, but 2 minutes later, Tammy Abraham, yet again on the score sheet, grabs a winner for us. And that takes Tammy Abraham to a tally of 8 goals in 10 games in the Premier League so far, which is second only to Erling Haaland. And I'm hoping it can be back-to-back wins in the Quick Sim as we run out the same 11 against Bournemouth at Selhurst Park, and it is another 3 points. And it's a convincing victory. I see Tammy Abraham's name again already. Evan Nielsen opens the score, and this time for the away side. But Ismail Assar equalises before the halftime break. But Tammy Abraham grabs a second goal for us just after. Ismail Assar grabs a second goal for him and a third goal for us 70 minutes in. Sinistera grabs one back for Bournemouth, but Kamada puts the finishing touch in the 77th minute to a 4-2 victory. And we are taking absolutely no chances in our final game of the episode against 18th place Everton at Goodison Park, fielding another very, very strong 11. And I'm losing count of the number of times I say his name in each episode, but Daichi Kamada got us off to an absolute flyer, firing past Jordan Pickford within 20 minutes to make it 1-0. However, just 5 minutes later, Kaoru Mitoma linked well with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who spent some time on loan at Selhurst Park last season, to fire a tidy finish past Dean Henderson for the equaliser. But it was a frantic opening half an hour in the game, and just 5 minutes later, Daichi Kamada and Tammy Abraham, the 2 stars of the season so far, combined as Abraham spun his man to make it 2-1. But on the stroke of half-time, the referee did us a favour, punishing this challenge from Idrissa Gueye with a red card. He must have deemed the challenge itself bad enough for a red, because there were players back to cover. And in the second half, we did our best to make our man advantage count, piling the pressure on Everton. Daichi Kamada in particular proving dangerous. It looked as if he would double his tally for the game on a number of occasions, but he just couldn't beat Jordan Pickford for a second time. And Everton did pose a threat from set pieces and on some quick counter-attacks, but Dean Henderson was in good form. He made a couple of good saves in the game to maintain our 2-1 lead. But in the final moments, as the game ebbed away, Iliman Ndiaye did enough to beat Dean Henderson. Thankfully, though, his shot flashed past the post. So we managed, again, to come away with all 3 points against 10 men, which was something of a rarity in the past, but is actually becoming a course of habit now. And with that result, we have another unbeaten episode. Again, we came close to a perfect episode, but the 2 points dropped against Fulham in the opening game are going to hold us back from perfection. They're not going to hold us back from the top half of the Premier League, though. An excellent string of results sees us rise to 8th position in the table and right in amongst it on 23 points. West Ham, Manchester United, both on 24, just ahead of us. It's 25 points for the 3 teams ahead of them in Manchester City, Chelsea and Spurs. So a win, technically, in our next game could see us rise as high as 3rd position in the table. And our next game is against 3rd placed Manchester City, as we have a busy month of December to get to. We face Brighton, Chelsea, Wolves and Liverpool in addition to Manchester City in the league. And we face West Ham twice. Once at the London Stadium, twice at the London Stadium, but once in the Premier League, once in the Carabao Cup semi-final. So we have by far our biggest test in the next episode. 7 fixtures to get to, the majority of which we can expect to be tough fixtures, but we will try and rise to the challenge, maintain our place in the top half of the Premier League and book our place in the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. We'll look forward to that in the next episode. I hope to see you there. Take it easy.